everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the League of Inches podcast featuring Savs from Supercoach Experience. It's our Sunday night shows now, and we're not going live just yet. Trials still a little bit happening, so we just saw another week or two. We'll wait, and then we'll go live, probably post either Vegas or round one. We'll double check there. But we're going to get on here tonight. There's obviously been a huge weekend of Rugby League. It's been fantastic. I've literally made an imprint in that lounge already. I was just concreted onto it. I was stuck there, much to the delight of my misso. But it was great. We got to see a lot of trial games, a lot of young talent, a lot of experienced players. So there's plenty to talk about. What we will focus a lot on tonight is the 4 Vegas teams that have going to Vegas because they were more so full strength this weekend. And we'll talk about more of the others next weekend, obviously. So I think it's best to focus more there. And then we'll just talk a little bit about the All-Stars concept and things like that as well. But firstly, obviously, the boys, we've got Sunday night is here. Very keen to rip in. This is going to be a cracking show moving forward, I reckon. Savs, how's things, mate? You've got that jersey on. I believe it's, a week away from kickoff. You've been hitting the weights. You're feeling big. You're ready to smash?
Not what? I was ready to smash. Jesus.
Fighting words.
I've actually been off the weights this week because I did a bit of nerve damage to my forearm. So too much smashing, as you. No, but I've been light on that. I've been doing a lot of cardio, so getting myself ready for long minutes, playing at centre for the charity match game. So surely you guys are tuning in, right?
Oh, mate, I'll be tuning in just to make sure you don't get too injured so you can jump on tomorrow night will be what I'm watching. I don't want any HIAs, please. So we're valuing what you can bring to us at the moment. But I'm keen to watch, and there's a lot of, obviously, creators that we are mates with, we talk to regularly, we've done a lot of work with, so keen to obviously have faces to names and see what talent is out there because I used to fancy myself as a footy player, but not anymore. Keen to see what you guys can all produce. And shout out quickly to Adam Martin, who's going to just talk the talk. He just continues to talk and run his mouth. He loves it. Keen to see what he can do on the weekend, and I'll pay someone just to put one on him.
Yes, please.
Just put one on him, please.
Yes, please.
He's on my side. He's been talking himself up as a half, and I got to tell you, he's got a decent kicking game, decent passing game, but I don't know. I feel like he's going to be used as a running player. So,
do you think he can even move 5 meters? Like, I don't even know if he could keep up.
Oh, wow!
I put on a try for him last year, and he's played it a lot to Troy, the Paracave guy, a lot of the time, and he always chews my ear off about it. That he just always talks.
He ran over Entertain House that day, and he hasn't lived it down yet. So, Trav.
Yeah, going okay. It's been a long day, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, going all right. Hey, just one thing though, Joel, you're on the clock, by the way. You are on the clock. Draft. In one of our drafts, you're on the clock.
Oh, that's all right. They can wait. We've waited long enough for that draft. Get me started, please. It's another little thing to add to add to an awesome Sunday. But anyway, let's got a few little plugs and promo codes and things like that to give to shout out quickly. So shout out to our major sponsor, Caxton Street Brewing Company. Guys, it's literally footy season's around the corner. There'll be games at Suncorp and the like very, very shortly. Make sure you drop on in, get yourself a beer, get yourself some food and things like that as well. Cracking joint. We've got some really exciting things coming up for Magic Round as well, which we will be announcing hopefully in the next couple of weeks. I've got some plans in place. We just need to get the basically signature on it to say, yeah, it's all good, but I have been given the okay. So
hey, I'll be there.
Right.
Let's go, Savs.
There'll be a lot of things happening. So very keen for that one. Our giveaway. So we've posted a giveaway up there at the moment, guys. So a little bit of clarification. So it's for 2026 jerseys. So you can win your side's 2026 jersey, whether it's home, away, alternate, whatever it is, you can have it. There's 2 actually on the go. So there is an Instagram one, which we've pinned to our top of our profile, and also a Facebook one as well. You can enter as many times as you possibly want. It will be drawn next Sunday. So I'll actually draw and announce the names. Hopefully at the moment, that many names, it'll probably take me longer to put them all in. But if I can, I'll get to it and announce it live on the show next Sunday there. So keep all those entries coming in. Remember, if you're a member of our Legends, it's double entries on the Facebook entry side of it as well. Our public comp, so tipping comp at the moment, we are running on ESPN. So make sure if you haven't already, I think most people have the ESPN app now. It's a really good way of doing tipping comps. To join that, type in League of Inches and then use the password in capitals, LOI. $500 prize money thanks to bets.com.au. And then our Supercoach overall competition. If you're a legend, it's $500 overall. If you're not, $250 with the league code 218174. Sabs, do you want to give your comps a shout out?
564004, I'm pretty sure, is my overall code. Prizes yet to be announced, but I think there's like a 3 years Patreon or something. 264004.
There we go. Do you have any cash comps left or anything like that?
I got one, but there's not many spots left, so...
Yes, please. I love the messages, everyone, but we have no cash comps left over at all. There's nothing left. So I love the messages. I'll chat footy with you, but we have no more cash comps left at all. So
we got one $50 league remaining, so
there we go.
You can shout that out.
Perfect. All right. Let's get into it. Let's rip into some footy talk. And I guess the first question I'll ask is, I forgot about it. It's a tradition that we used to do last year. Travel, remember it. Basically just ask sort of what caught your eye this week or weekend, I'm going to assume for a lot of us. Travel, I'll start with you. No warning.
No, I had no idea.
Which Trav doesn't
I
like.
don't. No, but it's pretty easy, hey? Like today was the All-Stars game and sitting there with my daughters and my wife this afternoon to watch the pre-game and watching the war dances and the haka and things was just phenomenal, man. Like every time I watch it, and Joel can attest to this, when we went and watched the Tonga Samoa game last year, like they were doing their war dance and I literally felt shook and got goosebumps and things, and that's how I felt. It just looks cool, and I know this is on the agenda, but it was just awesome to see. And then like even one thing that I really appreciated was my 7-year-old asking why and what they do this for and the history. And so then I sat there with her watching the game with an iPad, Googling the history of all these things and stuff like that. I just thought that was kind of cool. So yeah, what caught my eye was how awesome that was and the experience I got even watching it on TV.
Love it. Sabs?
Mine's going to be a little bit different, I guess. It's going to be more player-based. But the Matt Burton injury going down opened up Sean O'Sullivan to come in. There's a Mitch Wood injury for the Bulldogs, and I think the Bulldogs looked very good. I think this combination of Galvin and Sean O'Sullivan can really be the combination that wins them the most games this season. Might not be the best long-term option, obviously, but I think it could be the perfect transition for Mitch Woods to come into the side. So I think that combination is going to be, their hand is going to be forced to start the year potentially. And I think it's the best thing that could happen for them. And it could shift Burton to the centres. I saw Stephen Crichton was shifted to the left for parts of the game and Sherry to the right. I think that's in preparation for Matt Burton to play left centre and Crichton to move back to fullback and Sherry to move back to the right. So I think there's a lot of puzzle pieces to fall here, but the Bulldogs were amazing defensively. A lot of people were saying the Newcastle Knights were awful. I just think the Bulldogs were that good that, they've surprised me.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. We'll tackle that. I've got to reply because I absolutely love it. Give me 30 seconds to mine out and we'll go back because the Bulldogs are our first team, but I absolutely love what you're saying there. I agree wholeheartedly. For me, what caught my eye, as a Para fan, I've booked my grand final tickets. I've seen enough from today and off we go. So I'm going to be camping out of the Olympic Park Stadium very shortly, and I'm good to go. So no, but on a serious note, just love seeing footy back. Loved having last night, ordering the pizza, sitting there. Had my little boy, a little bit older now, starting to recognise colours and stuff, and the players. He's actually starting to like it a bit more and show some interest. So from a personal touch, I loved it. So it was great to see. And at the moment, his favourite colour is yellow. So to see Para run out in the yellow kit today was awesome because he just frothed it. He loved it so much. It was so good to see. So loved it. So let's bring it on. But Bulldogs, let's get straight into it. So we're going to speak about the 4 Vegas teams today and what we've seen from them the last 2 weeks. So from the Bulldogs' point of view, obviously a really good victory against the Knights on the weekend, which probably is the main one to talk about because the week before they really didn't have too many stars and things like that. You mentioned it, Saz. Let's just start with that point there because I absolutely agree with you. I think as soon as they came out, that injury happened, unfortunately. It pushed Galvin out to, I think, his best position, which is 6. I think so many people forget how good he has been at 6, especially at the Tigers. And then Sean O'Sullivan doesn't have to overplay anything, and I think he played that role perfectly. So, Trav, what are your thoughts on it? What's is this a blessing in disguise in a way? I know it seems really weird to say because Burton's a class act. We're not trying to dismiss what Burton can bring to this side, but it just looked like it really worked.
Yeah, it did. And guess who they played first game? The Dragons. So if it's going to happen, when's the best time for that to happen? Like after what we just saw on the weekend, if this is the... So, yeah, I think it is a blessing in bloody disguise, especially with the way that they've got coming up first up in Vegas. Like, yeah. It is weird to say because Burton is a very good player, but is he a better centre than 5'8"? Hell yeah, he is. And so therefore, I think that's where it needs to be. We are all talking that this is a Woods Galvin combination. So this is what most of us creators and personalities and things are talking about. Whether that's what happens or not, it's another story. Serraldo, like even listening to his pre-game interview, didn't sound super convincing on what he was planning on doing or what there was. So, yeah, but look, if they're going to have this combination, that first game's the best time for it.
So, Savs, what you said a bit earlier, obviously you've made your point, and as I said, I just agree with it. What do you do, Mitch Woods, in terms of doesn't seem fit at the moment? He has had a fair few hamstring injuries. I would not be rushing him at all at the moment. But do you eventually think that by the end of this year we'll get to the point where it's going to be a Mitch Woods Galvin halves pairing, or do you think Burton will find his way back? Where are you thinking?
No, it all depends on Sean O'Sullivan's fitness. I think that this combination is the best combination going forward. And Mitch Woods will come in if Sean O'Sullivan gets injured. And I think that's as clear-cut as it goes. And I think this forces their hand in moving Burton out of the halves. And it's really made me think about the Toby Sexton exit and all that. I don't think Toby Sexton was the problem.
No.
I think Toby Sexton could have been the perfect number 7, and they could have still signed Galvin and put Galvin at number 6, and that would have been just as good. It would have been a perfect combination leading into this year. I think Burton in the halves has really stunted them. I think they've struggled for attacking spark. Their defensive systems are great. They're really good at doing their roles, but they just needed someone like Galvin to really flourish and create those extra points out of unstructured footy. And Toby Sexton was the guy that was leading the platform to allow the other guys to do that. Burton is the person who can move out to the centres and still play that role, but he can't create things from nothing. So it kind of makes me confused, a bit angry at Toby Sexton's departure, but really excited for them, even though I haven't been a massive fan of them in the past, but I'm looking at this direction and it looks clear to me. And it just feels like they're not going to pull the trigger on Burton straight away. It feels like for a long time, especially with the Galvin, Mitch Woods, or the Galvin and Burton in the halves last year with Toby Sexton there, it felt like they delayed that as long as possible. I feel like they're going to do it again, but I really hope they just pull the trigger. Sean O'Sullivan in, Galvin 5'8", Mitch Woods come in whenever Sean O'Sullivan's injured, or maybe that natural transition happens. But yeah, I'm excited for them.
I'm having flashbacks already. I think Bulldogs fans are as well. It's like we've already unpacked and done all this last year. What's happening
literally
again?
Every week. I was just sitting there thinking, geez, I wish we had Savs on our podcast last year, Joel, because the amount of times that we said that exact point and then we copped it so often. But like it's literally it was the writing on the wall, where it was just the way it had to be, and it just they were so stubborn with it. It was ridiculous how stubborn they were with it.
It was, and I had Winston comment on a post today. Winston Evelyn, everyone know him by now, the big Bulldogs creator, and he reckons that he thinks Burton's the better 5'8". I've got to disagree. I think Galvin's the best 5'8" at that club, and he, like, in my opinion, how I pick teams a lot is I'll grab the first 2 or 3 players, the best players, and I'll put them in their best position. Then I'll work everything else basically around that. And in my opinion, I just think Galvin has to be the 6, and to be honest, it has to be a view of having him as a 6 the whole season. So if it works and O'Sullivan's the half, that works best in my opinion. And obviously Burton, I've seen him; he's a class centre. He can do a great job at centre. So
you know what though, I feel like Burton is a fine 5'8" if you've got a Tommy Turbo or James Tedesco at fullback, but you don't have that. So I think positions in the spine can't be determined by who's the best in that position at any given time. I think it's just who's right for that position. And I think Lachlan Galvin is right for that position for that team. If they move Crichton to fullback, I see a world where Matt Burton at 5'8", Galvin at halfback could work. But I don't see the value of Matt Burton being at 5'8" anymore when it feels like there's a clear direction for this team of the future.
Yeah, no, I agree. And another big point we've seen on the weekend, you mentioned a bit earlier, Sabs, was the defence from the Bulldogs. They were obviously renowned for this last year, this gritty side that they are literally a brick wall, it feels like at times. And the Knights found that out. Like, they were bad. We'll get to the Knights. But it didn't help the fact that they versed a dog side that were literally turned up and went, we're playing as if this is round one type thing. And they were just relentless with it. It was just, even like, I remember about 5 minutes to go where that Knights player made that break. He was about to score, and they don't need to. You don't need to then stop and grab him and make sure he doesn't score, but they did. There's those little things that the Dogs were doing throughout the game where you're like, it's a trial, just chill a little bit. You just lost one of your best players as well to a hamstring injury. It's like, chill out a little bit, but they won't. They've just got this mind frame at the moment. It feels like this club where they're like, no, we're on the field. We are doing what we're spoken about. This is our culture. This is what our DNA. And Trav, they didn't shy away from it at all on the weekend. It was great.
No, I mean, you summed it up really well. And I've said it for a couple of years now, how good that defense is. And all it needed to have was just a couple of these attacking players to shore up their position for a premiership, right? They've got a premiership winning defense. It's just what they can do in attack. And that's starting to show from what I saw today. Yesterday. Oh man, it's been a long day. It really has. It's exciting. I'm excited for the Bulldogs. I've got them in that window of top six. And I think anyone from that top six can win the premiership. They just got to be able to nail down that combination. They also got to nail down whether Hayward is that hooker for them. And if he is, and he can just be just a stock standard hooker for them, I think they're going to be okay. I like the idea of Crichton going to fullback because I don't think Tracy is a premiership winning team fullback. And that's not saying that Tracy's a bad player. Actually, I rate Tracy. I think he's a really nice fullback. He's not in the top echelon, but he's not a bad one. But I don't think he's a Bulldogs premiership winning fullback. So they've got to nail that down. But their DNA is exactly what you've said. It's defense. It's built on that. And if they can get that halves combination and can find and can fit Burton into the centers with that, the Bulldogs are going to be incredibly hard to beat. And they just showed that yesterday when they completely shut down the Knights.
Now, I don't know if he's the answer or not, but there's a lot of people at the club talking about Cade Dykes. Obviously, he's had a horror run injury-wise for a number of years now. He's been a freak for a while. He just can't stay on the field, unfortunately. But if he can start to get fit and get some consistent game time in New South Wales Cup, he might be that answer towards the back end of the year. He has the talent. It's just about him literally staying on the field at this point. Sav's defence wins premierships. We all know that by now. You don't have to live under a rock to know that. If any early signs to go off, the Bulldogs are right in this competition already. I think they should start quite heavy, not favourites, but right in the top four mix.
I think so. I do still have genuine concerns around them. I don't think their roster is completely finalised yet. And I feel like they're going to be stubborn with this halves combo. So, but it does worry me how good they come out in this trial. And they played for 80 minutes. Very, very strong, kept the Newcastle Knights to 0. Like, you've proved enough in that first half. You could have taken all your stars off in the second half, which they ended up doing eventually. But it worries me that because there's been so much talk about this Galvin, Burton, Wood situation in the off-season that they've tried to really plan their strongest point of the season to be the start of the season to shut down the critics. And it worries me that it's just going to happen what's happened the last couple of years where they're so fatigued by the time finals come because they've come out so hard and come out so fast that by the time finals come, they're absolutely gassed. So I would have loved to see them warm into this season a bit better and work on their combinations a lot more smartly. Whereas just how hard they went in the trials yesterday, injury to Matt Burton, that didn't need to happen. It feels like Newcastle were working out combinations, and yeah, they were awful, but it felt like Newcastle were going at 70% and Bulldogs were going at 110%. So it does worry me that they're going to come out and really start fast, blitz the competition, get all the haters and the journalists off their back with this Mitchell Woods halves combination situation, but really defer the fact that the underlying issues of they haven't really planned their season to peak at the right time in the last 2 or 3 seasons. So I in the past, I don't think they've had the roster to do it. I think this year, just based on what I've seen already, they might have a roster to go a bit further, but I still don't know if they're quite there yet.
I'm with you. I mentioned it on the season preview as well.
I actually think they do have the roster to take it there, and you've got to remember that they've also got a new recruit that's going to shore up their forward pack that makes a big difference too. I think they've got all the guys. It's just literally them making the move, and doing it. 2024 was a little bit. It was funny for them. They really did peak early, and we all were very surprised because 23 they were terrible, right? So with what they had done and how they went in 2024 as a young team, dying at the end of the year was kind of expected. Last year, I don't think they got fatigued. They blew themselves up. That wasn't because of fatigue. It was because of just poor organizational management, poor coaching, poor positions, poor team selections. That's what it was. It wasn't fatigue. But I think this year hopefully they've learnt from it. But to be honest, to rebut that, Savs, literally, you might take off all the personality and all the media early, but the second they have one bad game, it's just going to blow up again because we're all and it's the media just sitting there waiting for it, and that's that's going to happen. It's the NRL that goes for weeks. This is the way it's going to be. So surely the Bulldogs have sorted that out or have that in the back of their mind.
Yeah, and I guess winning games early on in the season does shut it up, and it buys you time to work on these things in the background. And I think the Penrith Panthers in years past, 21 is the prime example. They come out of the blocks absolutely flying. They had a bit of a die-off period towards the middle, and then they peaked again later in the season. So I think that's a kind of model like Serrato's coming from Penrith, so that's probably what he's doing. I think that's the best way to do it because over Origin, you take a hit when your players are playing well because they play Origin. So I think that's definitely the great way to go about it, but I think no team has kind of nailed it over the last couple of years. Obviously, Brisbane did it well last year, but it felt like they didn't really peak till the late end of the season. They didn't peak at all. Yeah, exactly. So, I think it's all about timing for them, and whatever side you look at it, there's positives and negatives everywhere. It's just if we look back at this at the end of the season and they've come fourth and they're in a prelim or a grand final, I wouldn't be surprised. They come eighth and they absolutely died in the arse at the end of the season, I would not be surprised either. So I think they're going to be very careful with how they deal with this half situation in particular. I think that's the thing that could blow up the club again.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great way to end with the Doggies. I think fans, you've got reason to be excited. It was a really good showing yesterday, no doubt about that. And the fact that you've potentially lost Burton now for a couple of weeks and it still doesn't look like that. That doesn't seem to impact like the odds and stuff like that. We still think that the Dogs will be just as good. Suggests to me that the club's in a really good place, which it hasn't been in for a long, long time. So you are moving upwards. I think the fact that we're having these conversations now about the Dogs, and we said this last year as well with them, it's a good thing because we're not just going, turning up and losing by a few is okay. No, we're actually at the point now where we're going, no, you're premiership contenders. This is what needs to happen to ensure that happens moving forward. So that's great. Let's go to the other side, though. But the Newcastle Knights. So last week lost to the Dragons 28 points to 18. And then this week they lost 28-0 to the Bulldogs at home at McDonald Jones. The Novacashians turned up once again. They just love their footy. It's great to see, but it wasn't a great performance. It really wasn't. There was a bit of worry. No Kalen Ponga, obviously no Leo. Not Leo. I was about to say no Leo Thompson. He is for the Bulldogs, but no Trey Mooney, the big money man there either. But I was a little bit concerned here. I know what you sort of said a bit earlier, Savs, about the whole we didn't fire shots. They're working on things, which I do get, but I was a bit. From a team that got the wooden spoon last year, and the last 2 months basically of the season last year were diabolical. It felt like we had lots of glimpses back to that straight away. And I'm not big on trials. I say it to the guys all the time in our chats. I don't like trials. I hate them. I hate reading into trials too much. But my exception normally is like the wooden spooners, because I actually want to see a little bit out of him, especially on their second trial. And what I seen from the Knights was just really slow ball movement around the park. Dylan Brown was hardly involved, where he's supposed to be their main key guy. I didn't really like that. And I just saw a back line that sort of caught a cold and couldn't do much. Like, they couldn't complete sets for a while there. It was concerning. It doesn't help. Like, we just spoke up the Dogs and what they are like, and their defensively, their systems are like. But yeah, Savs, I wasn't too happy. I wasn't too pleased about what I seen from the Knights. It didn't fill me with any confidence heading to Vegas.
No, definitely not. I actually thought that it was very strange how Dylan Brown, best left side player in the competition in terms of 5'8", was playing on the right side. Like, that absolutely baffled me from the get-go. Oh, my God. I can't believe they're doing this again with the halves. I thought they were going to get it.
Sandy can play right. He's played right for most.
Yeah, exactly.
He played right last weekend and actually killed it.
And I think that makes me think that they're going to put Fletcher Sharp in the halves potentially, which also I don't like. I feel like Fletcher Sharp can play off the wing and roam from the wing. And I feel like you're compromising too many players. You're getting rid of a genuine halfback. Whereas Dylan Brown, just because he's getting paid so much, it doesn't mean he has to play halfback. And I thought he dealt with what he could. I think Ponga's the main guy who will come in and take more of the load off Dylan Brown. So I'm not necessarily criticizing Dylan Brown at all. I just hope that this is them trying to see things rather than this is a reflection of what they've been working on in the preseason, because the Dylan Brown to the right, I guess that doesn't really replace effort, but at this, who knows? I'm a bit flabbergasted by how bad the performance was, but I'm reserving my judgment for round one because, as you said, I don't put that much thought into trials. I think the Bulldogs were very good as well. So I think it's more so them being good rather than Newcastle being bad. But it is concerning. But I'm going to reserve my judgment for Newcastle till round one.
The positive I took out of it, Trav, was the fact that coach afterwards did actually admit to it wasn't a good day at the office. He actually did say that it wasn't a great performance. He wasn't too pleased with it, which I liked. He didn't just go, it's a trial, sort of move it on. So what were your thoughts around the night?
They were ugly. I'm sorry, but they were just ugly, and I'm not going to beat around the bush for that. You can't turn up as the reigning wooden spooners, and have a performance like that. Like, you can lose in a trial. That's easy. Like, that is what it is, and you can play with your combinations and do all those. Like, who cares? But don't turn up and do absolutely nothing. And yeah, essentially, I felt like it was like 10-pin bowling for the Bulldogs, right? Every time they bloody decided to run, they just ran over the Knights, and the Knights looked like they were just throwing gutter balls the whole time and couldn't get past them, and it was just ridiculous. But here, Dominic Young more than likely plays. Fletcher Hunt, they got big raps about. Bradman Best, Greg Marzu, Dylan Brown, Sandon Smith, Jacob Saifidi, Phoenix Crossan, Tyson Frizzell, Dylan Lucas, Thomas Cant, Matt Croker, Gamble, McEwen. Like, that's their list. They all played. That's not playing a second fiddle rate team or anything like that. That's their freaking list, man. They all played. So, and most of them played pretty well where they're probably going to. There was obviously a few that didn't, but that's most of their list for the third time.
I'm not sure if I was watching the different. I've seen a lot of Knights fans after this come out and bag Margie for his performance. I actually thought Margie played fairly well. Like, he was doing what he normally does, his runs and tough runs and things. They made a break or two. I don't know if I was watching the wrong thing, boys, but it looks like, and Savs, I'm with you. If I was the Knights, I'd be moving Sharp onto the wing and letting him roam. probably making way for Marju. Unfortunately, there is a bit of history between Holbrook and Marju. Obviously, he did basically drop him and move him on from the Titans, but you don't think grudges are held in rugby league, do we? But what do we think of the Marju performance in particular, Savs? I think it was pretty unfair for Knights fans yesterday. There was a lot more, especially your middles were shocking.
Yeah, I thought he was pretty good, to be honest. I think with a backline of Ponga and Dom Young, Greg Marju is actually someone who helps them out of yardage, and I think they need someone like that. Obviously, you've got Gagai and Bess who can pick up some of the dirty work as well from second and third tackle, especially considering their forwards are very lackful. So I would be keeping Marju there. I think it feels like for me, Dom Young is probably the one that could drop out. I know Fletcher Sharp played on the right wing when he has played on the wing in the past, so that's where I'd be playing Fletcher Sharp. Scored 4 tries on the right wing as well.
Man, if you're going to have a go at Marju and his defense, why are you not saying anything about Dom Young and his defense? Come on now.
And his attack.
And then attack-wise, I'm taking Marju over Dom Young every single time with my eyes closed and no breath. It's as simple as that. So it makes no sense how that conversation has popped up.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any. I'm happy with the Sandon Smith, Dylan Brown halves combination moving forward into round 1. I just wanted more so as Sandon Smith as the 7. Dylan Brown as the 6, and like you said, Savs, get Dylan Brown back over to the left for crying out loud. He's not a right-sided player, so just go away. I don't mind it here and there just popping up if you see something. He's just a naturally gifted footy player, but I'm happy with it. Are you boys happy?
Yeah, how good was Sandon Smith last year with the combination next to Savala? Now Dylan Brown is tenfold better than Savala. Just recency bias just proves that that's a better combination for them, and that's where they should go. I don't like Fletcher Sharp, Dylan Brown at all. That's not two game managers. That's not two kickers. That's that's just two beast runners who just want to be freed, and you're going to have that in your halves next to Ponga, who's pretty much the same thing. You can't do that.
It feels like they're catering way too much for Fletcher Sharp when I think the end result is just way too messy if they end up in the halves. It just feels like it's not going to be organised. And Sandon Smith is a great player. I think he can get the best of everyone if Fletcher Sharp plays on the wing and Brown plays at 5'8".
The final thing on the Knights I just want to bring up. Obviously, we've watched last week's game. We've watched this week's game. The reason I mention that is because we've now seen a little bit of their depth and things like that. I am so worried about their middles. I know everyone has probably spoken about it in their previews for the season and things like that. It's been obvious to most out there. I know Trey Mooney wasn't playing, but let's be honest, he was in reserve grade last year. Wasn't able to crack it, which was a very world-class forward pack, mind you. But he is a good player.
Played well today.
Yeah, he's very good. But what I'm trying to say is I don't think he can do everything himself either. He can't stay on there 80 minutes each and every week. And what I'm seeing apart from him is not great at all. They've just got monstered. And the Dogs pack is good, don't get me wrong. But I don't think their middles are up there with some of the best in the competition. And to basically get bowled over and monster like they did last night was just really concerning for mine. Because on paper, obviously Frizzell, Jacob Saifidi are two players who they'll have heavily in their forward pack this year. It wasn't good, Trav.
And the biggest problem for Saifidi is his health. So you can't even bank on the fact that he's going to be there for a season enough to kind of hold off on Mooney and protect Mooney to do that. So yeah, it's danger signs. Danger signs.
I think Croker was very good.
Agreed.
And strong in defense.
Yeah, him and Mooney will be a problem this year, but Jacob Saifidi and Frizzell really need a lift. I know they're getting on in age. Jacob Saifidi should be in the prime of his career, and I feel like he's still got it in him. So he's really got a lift. But Frizzell's also got he's got a lift as well. I don't know how much his body can take. He's a bit older now, so I'm not really expecting a lot from him. So it might be a bit harsh, but yeah, they need help from them two guys. One of them needs to stand out this year.
Frizzell, I'd be pissed right? Like I'm an Origin player. Like I've had a pretty bloody good career, and I've given my literal all for this club. And this is in 2026. This is what I'm cruising into. Like,
you're in the
yeah, like, and he shouldn't be. Like the club should be around him. You know, he should be just on the back end of his last few years of his career, just do it. You know, I feel for him because I like Frizzell, and I think he's had a great career, and he was a beast in Origin and all sorts of things. Like I love it, but yeah, oh man, I feel for him.
Let's head on over to another side that wasn't great on the weekend. That was the Dragons. They're obviously heading over to Vegas to verse the Bulldogs. So last week beat the Knights 28 points to 18, but this week lost to a reserve grade South Sydney side 28 points to 24, which for a lot of it was basically their third strength side as well as the game went on for the Bunnies. Firstly, I don't want to talk about him too much, but just quickly, Wayne Bennett, I could not be more impressed by it. He's sitting in the stands watching this. At halftime, they pan to him taking selfies. Not even in the sheds. He's taking selfies with fans in the ground. And then at the end, as soon as the whistle's gone, he's on the blower. He's on the phone. Who knows what he's organising? He's probably organising what movie he's going to go watch or something. But it was peak Wayne Bennett. And the fact that they won this game, I just couldn't stop laughing. So I thought it was absolute cinema.
It was funny because they did like the pre-game interview and it was with Ben Hornby. Like, Wayne Bennett was like, just, nah, I'm not doing today.
I just want to take my selfies and be in the community, hey? Oh, I had a good laugh at that too.
He doesn't like trial football. And actually, just a quick one. I know Joel Kane put this up on his social media. Shout out to him. Trials, like at the moment, are we all good with all these first graders playing and stuff? The seasons are getting longer and longer with rep footy and things like that. Should we really do we even need trials? I'll go that far. I don't even think we need trials anymore. Like we're starting our first graders in February. Like this is Feb, and they're going to be playing all the way through to basically, especially this year, the start of November is the World Cup will finish. So that's a lot of football. I don't know if like you used Matt Burton, for example, and all their stars of dogs turned out similar to what Saz was saying a bit earlier. Like, is there a need to have these guys playing now?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I think if a club is putting all their stars out,
it's up to them.
It's up to them. And like if you've had a good preseason, you want to see a little bit of it before round one. But there's a world where you don't need to trial any of your best players. And I feel like there's teams that are going to do that. Like I doubt Tommy Turbo is playing next week. The Manly Sea Eagles know who they are, I guess. Roosters know who they are. Manly Sea Eagles was a bad example, sorry. But Penrith know who they are. I don't know.
I'm shocked if Moses plays, for example. Like I know what you're trying to say. Like
yeah.
There's certain players where they just don't need to play a trial.
Yeah, and if you've had a good preseason, like you don't really need trials to justify yourself there. Obviously, if there's positions up for grabs, happy to have a trial there for people to fight for a position, but you don't need to play your best players in the trials. I feel like trials are a good thing. It's just the fact that they're televised just makes it really tricky and makes it seem like it's more official than it actually is.
Yeah, I think people forget as well how solid opposed sessions are these days as well. We're seeing a lot of the depth that the clubs have these days, like all throughout the grades. They're really good players and have set structures and stuff like that. A lot of these teams are doing this from like basically when they go back to training in January. Like it's happening a lot. Trav, are you a fan of these trials?
Yeah, I'm with Savs. I like the trials. Teams just need to be smart and drop their players that they don't need to. But to be fair, there is only so many games and only so many times that you can have in intra-clubs and all that sort of stuff. Like it's good to get a good hit out. It's good to get into the sheds. It's good to play in front of crowds. You know, you're setting your season up for it. So, yeah, and it's good to get, you know, like you saw even with the Dolphins, like how they basically played two halves, and Kafusi and Flegler and all that came on the second half. Like it's good to just get 40 minutes into some of those big boys' legs and that sort of thing. So I am a fan of it, but you just got to be smart. Just got to be careful with it.
Can I also add that a lot of people kind of blow up over the Origin period that the competition just goes on hold for a couple of months while all these Origin players are out. And the argument always is we see all these young guys that come out and really prove themselves. I think the trials can be an avenue where that like instead of that middle period, focusing on that for the young guys to really prove themselves. The trials is really that. Like, who knew who Cade Reed was 2 weeks ago? Now we know him, and now we're really expecting big things from him just because we saw him perform well once in a trial.
Everyone was bagging the Dragons out for letting Glover go, but now they've got this guy through the ranks. So.
Exactly. So I think the trials is a good thing for that purpose as well. And just seeing whether someone in reserve grade who you've got massive raps on can mix it with the big boys. So
all I want to see, Savs and Joel, in the trials is that they take them out bush. That's it. Just those games need to be remove the bunker and all that sort of stuff. Just have some standard media out there and just go and play out the bush and take it to the community.
Even Henson Park today was amazing.
Yes, right. Just not
take it to the community.
Just take him anywhere but I love it, and I love the bunker call as well. Just get rid of it. Let's just have these games where it's like, whatever the ref sees goes.
It's a trial, so just let them have a run and do it. As long as you've got enough cameras for anyone that does anything stupid, then
Park, you reckon?
Hey, if there's not enough cameras, we won't be seeing tries like we did in the Tigers and Roosters game.
The try of the year.
I don't want to see that because it's not going to count.
I know. It's a bit disappointing, isn't it?
It should. Anyway, all right, let's go on to the St. George Illawarra Dragons, boys. We just spoke the Knights down and said how disappointing they were. Let's be honest here. This Dragons performance, I know they started well. They did shoot out to, I think it was a 10-0 lead early, and then it just
died.
People are saying, they took the foot off the gas and stuff like that. I don't know about that. I just think South Sydney got really grindy with them, and they didn't like it, and they just basically fell apart. They had no answers to what South were throwing at them, which, again, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to read too much into trials here, but doing a podcast, talking some footy, I was concerned with what I was watching, Trav. I didn't like it.
Yeah, it was ugly too, eh? But, it's an interesting one too, because I don't have what are my expectations of the Dragons? I think they're going to be competitive, but they're going to be at the bottom somewhere. So, Sav's played a really indifferent thing before with the Knights, and I'm going to do that here for the Dragons. I'm just going to wait and see. I didn't have high expectations here, and I'm not going to go into a trial with these guys with what I saw. Like, there were some good things, like Atkinson. I thought Leilua was pretty good. Like, there were some good positives in this one. I get that they played against Souths. I do understand that, but you could clearly see that they weren't running as hard for 3/4 of that game. You could clearly see they weren't combining as well as you would expect them come round one. So, I could see that. Whereas with the Knights one, they just got blasted.
Yeah, Sabs, what was your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm okay with their performance. We didn't see St. George play that badly last year. They'll give or take a couple of games. But they're a side that competes under Shane Flanagan. Shane Flanagan's got the fit. Luciano Leilua is Exhibit A. I just think that they just needed this hit out for fitness. They didn't care about the result. A bit of self-preservation were there up against a bunch of kids who were trying to prove themselves going 120%. So I'm okay with the performance. I don't think we saw anything close to what we saw compared to that last year. One concern for me, though, I've seen a lot of things with Daniel Atkinson on socials and stuff, like with his being the halfback, being the leader of the team. And to me, it just feels like it's not natural to him. I don't think he's a natural leader in the team. I think he's more of a run first guy, a six kind of guy. And I don't know if Flanagan is that guy either. But yeah, I think that's a concern. I think Gutho's got to take control of this team, and yeah.
Let me ask you boys a couple of questions, and when it comes to positions and halves is in this. Firstly, just a quick shout out to Hame Sele. Obviously, we've seen him have a bit of a bad head knock. We don't want to see that with players, and so it's unfortunate for him. He just can't stay on the field. He's had a shocking run as over the last year or two. And to be fair, when I seen the team list name and he was 13, I was a bit shocked. I didn't predict that to happen. I thought that was a lock for basically Hamish Stewart. So I wasn't expecting that either. So hopefully he gets to play. I don't know. I like him a bit more off the bench or something like that, providing that impact. So see what happens there. But let's go. I want to ask you boys two positions that are open, I feel like. I'm going to go the wingers first. Who are your wingers to go to start in Vegas, Savs? I'll start with you.
Setutu and Christian Tuipulotu. I think Setutu did enough.
Yeah. Trav?
Like my thoughts and what I think Flanagan are going to do are two very different things. I think what Flanagan's going to do, what Flanagan's going to do is pick two and Tuipulotu, and that's very easy. But my opinion is that should be Sloan. It should be Sloan and Tuipulotu.
Okay, so let's quickly discuss that one because Sloan at the moment, like the both trials, he's played fullback, so he's basically been told he's the reserve fullback. So only time he'll see first grade this year, from what I'm looking at and can tell by the trials, is if Gutho is injured or they move him to centre or something throughout the year, whatever they do there. So I don't know if he. I agree with Savs. I think it'll be Tuipulotu and 2, and I think we all know that. But I'm with you, Trav, in terms of I think Sloan's getting used as a scapegoat in this club at the moment because I don't think his performances have been anywhere near as bad as what it feels like Flanagan is basically saying. He's basically become this guy that is being blamed for some. It was basically a horribly injury depleted year last year for the Dragons, and to now be basically on the outskirts. Like he actually scored some remarkable tries last year. Look, his defense is always going to be questioned. There's no doubt about that. But I think he makes up for it. He's gotten better. He's gotten a bit more size on him and things like that. So I feel a bit for Sloan. I just think he's at the moment at this point where he very clearly needs to go. He needs to find another club. That's first and foremost. He's one of those guys that would tear up Super League. I think he would go there and absolutely tear that place up. But what are your thoughts on Sloan, Savs? Do you think he's been a bit of a scapegoat here at this club?
Yes and no. Yes and no. I think his deficiencies have been that they are a thing, but it's definitely not as bad as it's made out to be. I do think that someone like Sloan probably isn't. I don't know if he's not first grade material because I think he is, but I just think. Yeah, I'm so confused on it. I'm so torn because I think he's good enough, but I also think if he's your starting winger, then you probably do have problems within your club. So I think he's a very good backup, but I don't know if he hasn't really attacking wise. He's fine. Attacking wise, he's good. Yeah,
I think he'll be a weapon in this 6-man bench. Bring him on with 20 minutes to go, and he can carve some.
He always tears up the middle every time he comes off the bench.
Fast,
so I do like that.
And speed is power, and so he's got that. But he scored 17 tries last year in a like a horrible year for the Dragons. To be fair, that had upside, but he had scored 17 tries for them last year. Like his deficiencies are not near as bad as some of the wingers in the competition that are getting games. This is in my opinion, this is a first grade winger. Like that's my opinion. I really legitimately think he's a good try scorer. Okay, he's got some defense issues, but Tuipulotu's got crap loads there. Dominic Young and Greg Marju on the other side have even worse. Warbricks. Like these are, that's a premiership winning, or not a premiership, but a premiership trying winger. Like you just have to.
And just what you've said there and the names you've actually mentioned, Trav, none of those can actually break a game.
Not like he can, no. But you go. Everyone's fixated on like that one bad defensive play that he had last year that's really out in everyone's minds. But there was so many of them from so many players. It just, I don't understand why this guy gets so much heat. I really don't.
Last one on the Dragons, they're halves. What's your 6 and 7?
My 6 and 7 is... what they do and what I would like are two different things, but I think Atkinson is a very. I don't agree with Savs there, and I'm not trying to be a hater here or a fighter, but.
I saw your face when I said it. I was like, oh.
But where has Atkinson had the opportunities? And when he has had the opportunities to be a game manager, like that Sharks game that they beat Melbourne in Melbourne, like where he was the starting half and had to lead that Sharks team, like, you know, when he's had his moments, he's been really good. Now it's finally his opportunity. He was just stuck behind Trindle and Hines and couldn't get there, and it was never had that role. I think he will be a very good game manager for them. I don't like Flanagan in the 6. I think I would pick King Togia there, but it won't be. It'll be Flanagan and Atkinson.
I think Flanagan should be the 7 and Atkinson should be the 6. I think Flanagan he's probably not. He's obviously not the best halfback in first grade, but I think he's the best halfback at the club. And I think you look at that left side, every time he's on that side, he holds that edge defensively, and that side always kills it. Like we saw early last year, Tuipulotu and Holmes absolutely killed it to start the year. The minute King Tonga went to the left, that defensive side just crumbled, and there was no attack that went out that way. So I think Tonga's still got a fair way to go to really come on, and I think he's probably got a future at 5'8". He's got a few things to work on, but I would put Flanagan at halfback. Flanagan was a halfback of the 2020 Roosters side. They came 4th the year after Cooper Cronk left the club, and since then they've only made the top 4 once. Kyle Flanagan
There's a stat.
Kyle Flanagan was the halfback when that happened. So I feel like his time at the Roosters, and I think just throughout his career, he's been unfairly criticised. I think some of it is warranted. I don't think he is the greatest. Like his boot, he's got like he needs to work on his kicking game length. Like he really puts them up in the air for the fullbacks just to run onto it. But I think Atkinson can really help him in that regards. And I think they'll be good for each other. And like, it doesn't really matter who wears the 6 and 7 between them, because they'll both do their job well.
I agree. Absolutely agree. Can we all agree on one other thing? Cade Reed isn't ready yet to be first grade. Be a first grade. But I know there's a lot of people out there.
Super coaches, more like it.
Commenting and things like that. The blinkers are firmly on, guys. He has had some really good moments the last 2 weeks. Let's not shy away from that. But he's just not ready to be week in, week out playmaker at this side yet. If he ends the year and he's playing, would not surprise me at all. But he needs a bit more time in his World Cup, playing against men each and every week who's going to put shots on him and things like that, and then he'll become that player. So just don't rush him. You could absolutely.
NRL.com still doesn't have a photo for him, nor do they have anything on his bio. So there's no age, no date of birth, no height, no weight, nothing. So that's a good sign to say that you're probably not ready.
Just chill, please. Last one for the United Cowboys. So last week beat the Doggies 34 points to 30, and then this week they demolished the Panthers, who made the imaginary list. I had a few people messaged me about that. The list was not ready yet, guys. It's not happening. 66 points to 24. They did turn it on, but to be fair, the Penrith Panthers picked
nobody.
I wouldn't even say the second grade side. There was almost as the third grade side started, and their fourth grade side came on towards the back end. So, and they did a remarkable job, Penrith, at the back end of that game, I thought as well. But Savs, the Cowboys. What are you thinking of the Cowboys at the moment? There's been a lot of pressure and a lot of thoughts around the Cowboys this year. I haven't heard many rate them highly at all. But if anything's to go off this trial result, I know it's hard to read too much into it. There's a little bit of something there.
We know the Cowboys can do this. They still let in 26 points, given that they didn't let that many in the first half when they had all their guns on. So I'm not criticizing them for that, but we know they can score points. I need to see them up against a first grade side and defend well against a first grade side. They're up against a Jersey flag Panthers side. So I'm not reading a lot into this. We know the Cowboys can score points. I just think, like, what's with Purdue playing center all of a sudden? Like, I don't like
that was weird.
The reports are he's been training there all preseason, and then the minute bloody Clifford, there's a bit of pressure on new halves for Clifford to stay there, then they crumble. Like,
I got an answer for you. Todd Payton.
Don't get me wrong. I think this is the best combo for their side, but like you're putting all your preseason out the window.
Yeah. But does it not just scream coach? Like, that's what he does. This is who he is. Like that. Yeah. He did it last year, and then just 2 weeks going into Origin, let's put Purdue in the 5'8" because Dearden's about to leave and go and play Origin. Like, that's the stupid stuff that he does and that he's been doing.
Yeah.
That's all that screams.
Shout out to you, Todd Payton.
Sorry, we have to find a way to always have a go at him. But that's the answer. Like, Sav's asked a legit question. Like, why is Purdue now going there with this halves? And it's literally just that. That's all it is. But we
Yeah.
know full well, and we've said it all along, is Clifford and Dearden are the halves, and it doesn't matter what's number on their back. Dearden is the leader of that team, and Clifford is just the kind of like the, I don't know, the calmness to the Cowboys storm is probably the best way.
He's the Hugo Savala to the Sam Walker.
Yeah, I suppose it's a good way. It's a completely different player, but I get exactly what you're saying. Like the way that Savala and Clifford play are very different. But like you're exactly right. Like that's what it is. And it's Dearden's team, but he is that calming presence, that leader on the field that Cowboys team needs. But you're right. Like everything, literally, and everyone that even went and watched their training, Purdue's at 5'8". Dearden at the 7. Like that's what everyone has said. And then you go and literally have a preseason game and this is what you do. Like who freaking knows what's happening there?
Especially after the fact that we were told he's trained 80% or something of the preseason in the halves, and then all of a sudden he's gone to centre, which I do think his best position at this present stage is centre. I think he's done very, very well so far in his short career. And to be fair, I think Clifford gets the best out of one of their best players, which is Dearden. So I think if that, like we spoke about earlier with the Bulldogs and making it work, the best fit, that's the best fit for the Cowboys. That's when they play their best football, is making sure Dearden is basically on fire, which Clifford makes or helps.
And Drinkwater. And,
do you feel like,
and now with Marnie, like how good was Marnie? Sorry, Savs, but like, and keep that on your tongue. But like how much better is that with like Drinkwater as well? And your two studs are Drinkwater and Dearden, and that's who they have to play through. So he just frees everything up about that. Like you've just got to do. That's what the combination has to be.
Do you feel like the fact that Purdue, there was reports that he's going to re-sign with the club, then all of a sudden that's why he's gone back to centre? Like him training in the halves in the preseason was just a ploy to get him over?
Keep the Storm's hands off him.
Yeah.
That's a big ploy.
And then like the minute they get like a word agreement, then, you're back in the centres.
Yeah, we've locked you up.
I mean, you won't keep him for long. There'll be a media story soon saying he seeks out of the club, so after false promises. So we've seen that before. Trav, you're right. I want to give him a shout out. Reid Marnie. I was really impressed with what I've seen. Obviously, we're all super coaches as well. I loved it from that point of view also. But from an NRL point of view, I think it looks like, which I find really strange as well here for another coaching thing, Robson basically felt like for his entire Cowboys career just to pass off the deck and that's it.
Yep.
Don't do anything. Where Marnie looks like he's been told, you know what, you can run. You can actually play some football and you can free up the ruck and get some things happening, which I find odd, but I love at the same time.
He just looked so free, didn't he? Like he didn't look like. Well, actually, he probably did look like this was a trial. I don't give a shit. Let's go and play. And we'll see what happens in round one. But he did. He looked free. But then it was so much about why I think they wanted Reid Marnie so badly was his leadership, his chirp and his chat. It was just fun to watch Reid Marnie around the park, running around, chirping and doing what he was doing. Like you're right. He just looked really free. And I didn't watch that game for any super coach purposes, to be honest. But I did watch that game and I liked what I saw of Reid Marnie, and because I actually think he's a good player.
Yeah. Savs?
Yeah, I think it was evident that he was restricted at the Dogs because we saw Bailey Hayward play the other day and just dish 0 runs for 0 meters. So, I think he was restricted. He was in the wrong system, and this is the system that will help him flourish. So I like the move for Reid, and I'm excited for him this year. I think it's a good move for the Cowboys as well. So I think Robson struggled to pick his moments, and I think Robson at the Roosters, he's not going to have to do that really. But I think Reid Marnie's going to have the freedom to pick his moments.
I agree. Last one, Helam Lukey. Do you think he gets the start on this edge, Savs? He's brained both trials.
For North Queensland Cowboys or for the Queensland Maroons? Because I think that's the question.
You're big on Lukey, eh?
I think Lukey should have had the career Nano's had without the injuries. So hopefully he can put it together this year.
That's a no-brainer for me. Yeah. He's definitely starting.
Yeah, I agree. Get him in your Supercoach teams, guys.
No, don't give it away. Stop it. We're not a Supercoach podcast, Joel. No, we don't want to help. Not yet.
I'm helping him. All right. Lastly, just the All-Stars game was great to see both the women's and the men's. Very exciting games today. The women's was a great comeback victory as well. And then the men's to have that draw, fantastic to see. I found it weird right at the end there where they did the challenge and there was still time remaining and then they just sort of called the game. I was like, hang on, but the challenge was during time. Shouldn't it be one more play? Like, I was a bit confused by that, but we're not trying to bag the refs here, but I was very like, what happened? And shout out to the ref that done his hemi.
Adam G.
to everyone. Adam G.
What's hemi tightness?
In doubt for round one.
Tightness. Just keeping him for Vegas so he can travel. So but that was a bit odd, but I got my question to end the night. The All-Stars concept, guys. Are we all for it? And part two is the time of year. Is there a change-up needed? I've got to be fair. I think this was one of the weaker build-ups to it that we've had so far for this concept. I think, in a way, trials have taken over it. And I think more and more people are watching the trials and more keen for that. I don't know if I'm coming at this the wrong way. Don't shoot me up, but I love what it means. I love culturally. I love everything for it. I know this is a very touchy subject to many out there. I'm not trying to badmouth it. I'm just trying to think what's best for the concept to keep it relevant.
Yeah, no, I think any game that isn't an NRL game, including trials, these clubs pay so much money for their players, and I think as professional as the NRL's gotten, and all these novelty fixtures outside of the NRL, 27 rounds in a season, plus finals, plus Origin, plus internationals. All these novelty games are going to die off because they can't put the same amount of effort into these. Latrell Mitchell, probably the most iconic Indigenous player in the game. Like, where was he today? He's fit. He's ready to play, but he's not playing because he wants to have a big year for the Souths. You're struggling, Trav. You're all right.
Yeah, he's
just coughing and sneezing and stuff.
Yeah, I can hear you through the mic. He's
running a marathon.
Yeah, so I think as more professional as the sport gets, these concepts are going to start to die, and they're trying to hold on to it, which I completely sympathise with. But at the end of the day, the nines died.
Bring back the nines. That's my heart.
Yes, City Country died. I think there's only I don't know if they're going to get rid of it, but because of what it means to these players, but it just feels like it's inevitable that it's not going to stay around.
Savs, Joel likes the nines because the last premiership that Para won was the nines, so that's why he's so in love with that.
We didn't win it. We got
it. But you're still claiming it. But no, I'm a big fan of it. I really am. I really like it. I don't care that all the big names didn't play. I think there was still, like, everyone that played today, I very easily knew. I knew where they were. I know what spots. I know what they do. Like, so it was still there.
It was good today. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
My question to you boys, because I've given my opinion that I think it should stay, and I like the preseason for it too, and I think I still think it's a good trial game. Did you like the 4 quarters?
Yes.
There you go. I loved it. I really liked it. I liked the 4 quarters. I thought it was just, it's
bring fatigue into it. They get unlimited in it.
No.
So what are they stopping for?
I think that's a good trade-off for the concerns that these professionals have. If you're absolutely gassing them and one of them gets an injury, then they're trying to prevent that in these sort of games because they want clubs to be able to release their players in the future. So it's
I get it from that point of view. I just don't like it.
It's because it's different, and I do understand as well because but I liked it because it was different, and I liked the difference in it, and I thought it was more intense than what I've seen in the past too, because it was short, sharp bursts and then break, and then short, sharp bursts and then breaks and stuff like that. So yeah, I was a fan of it.
You also are big on the American sports, so they're big on their quarters.
Well,
I'm
actually,
not, so I
my
don't see
favourite
that.
sport
I
is
love the fact
NCAA basketball, and they play 2 20-minute halves.
Shout out to you, NCAA. Well done. keep going with that one. I lost what I was about to say then, so it doesn't even matter. So off we go. Sorry. What I was going to say is I like our gladiatorial sort of effect of our game, and the fact that the little blokes can come into it. Like, I actually was watching today, and it felt like Keeney and Fuller and the like weren't quite in the game as much as I would have liked to have seen them, because it didn't quite get the chance to open up as much. Like, I think Fisher Harris didn't come off until like the 60-minute mark or something like that. Like, he played the whole game basically. So I just didn't like that element. I would have loved to see, because there was a lot of those little guys in this game, Campbell and the like. I would love to see them play against a tiring forward pack, which we just didn't quite get today. So that was just all. But I do understand why they're doing it. I completely get that. That's it. That's it for tonight, boys and ladies and gentlemen. So thank you very much for listening. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for us. And please follow the SC Experience across all the social media, YouTube, podcast, wherever you listen to it. Go and give it that bell icon. Give us all a rating as well. It does do a lot to help the podcast grow and support the platforms. And guess what? All those ways of supporting are completely free as well. Thank you, Sabs. Thank you, Trav. Let's get to bed. It's quite late. Good night.
Good night.
He was. What was you doing?
Bye-bye.